The show ran long, so Walter was postponed to another show.
Then that week's show ran long, and Walter's story was moved again, and again, and again. And eventually, we'd seen it in so many scripts that everyone assumed we'd aired it.
Incredible.
So at long last, we are proud to present for all his friends and fans an incredible journey with Walter Poenisch.
One of my specialties is towing. And I got in that today. I want you to know this beautiful body, this 66-year-old body, will which be 67 years old coming July the 11th. And I'm going to attempt to tow that 30-ton boat up the river. Not down the river, but up the river. 30 tons.
30 tons is the weight of the empty riverboat, but Walter's invited along a couple of extra tons of friends and animals from the Columbus, Ohio Zoo.
Today, I'm going to have my feet shackled here with a horse shackles. These are most generally used on horses to shackle their feet with. And I also will have this little clip, which will go into the D-ring here. And I wear my flippers. And I wear these goggles, which I couldn't swim without the goggles. And I wear a hat, rubber hat here to keep the hair out of my eyes. I don't want anything to bother me. Everything's got to run smooth. Everything has to say go.
Walter's not new to this kind of swimming. He's been performing acts of aquatic prowess for nearly all his life. Protected by this shark cage, he swam from Florida to Cuba only 5 years ago. Fidel Castro toasted him on arrival and gave Walter one of his personal Havana cigars as a memento of the trip.
One of the most unusual things that I do to keep in shape for this type of swimming and pulling and so forth, I hook a harness to my waist and I pull my wife around in a quarry for 2 and 3 hours a day.
Today's attempt is even more incredible. The boat's loaded, and now Walter, with the able help of his wife, dons his flippers as well as his shackles and chains. The shackles and chains will restrict Walter's movement, making his difficult task even more demanding. With all eyes on him, Walter now enters the Scioto River. It's freezing cold.
The icy water will be another drain on Walter's energy, but he's determined that nothing will stop him. Here he goes.
Walter's wife is always full of encouragement, and it always spurs Walter on. The boat is actually moving now, inching away from the dock.
That's exactly what Walter's doing. More than 30 tons of cargo is beginning to move upstream. Not by horsepower, not by steam power, but by Poenisch power. You're moving it!
Now remember, Walter Poenisch is 66 years old. His legs are shackled and chained, and he's towing more than 400 times his own weight upstream through freezing cold water. It's an awesome portrait in sheer courage, strength, and determination.
At 200 feet upstream, Walter must turn the boat around and avoid drifting into the dam's waterfall. Walter's wife is still cheering him on every stroke of the way.
Walter Poenisch has nearly done it. He's just a few strokes away from his goal. Carefully now, he moves the boat back to its dock, bringing to an end what has certainly been its most extraordinary journey. For Walter Poenisch, it is yet another truly incredible accomplishment. Walter's too tired to swim anymore, but he's never too tired to talk.
Well, hey, it's a lot tougher job And I thought it was, you know, going out through there and that's going up the river, you know. You're not going down the river when you're going that direction. But I told these thousands of people here at the Columbus Zoo that I was going to pull that 30-ton boat with all them people and all them animals over 200 and some feet up the river. Because what I had to do, I had to fight the wind, and then I had to fight the stream. So I had an awful problem up there. But as everybody can see, I made the little fellers.
Walter Poenisch says that he was born to swim. It all started, he says, at the age of 4 when Walter swam across Buckeye Lake in Ohio. But it took another 61 years for Walter to make world history with what he called his swim for peace. He swam from Cuba to the United States on his 65th birthday. He was greeted by Fidel Castro upon his arrival in Havana, given a birthday party where they celebrated with cake and pineapple juice. Then he set out for the Florida Keys. Took 34 hours and 15 minutes, but Walter did make it. Exhausted, I'll grant you, but proud to have accomplished a dream that was 15 years in the making. And Walter Poenisch joins us now at the age of 70, and I might add, looking fit as can be.
Thank you, Brian.
It's been 5 years since you made that swim. We should note that,
yes,
that your friends have petitioned for you to be on the Today program. Yeah. It's taken you a while to get here. We're glad you could join us. But it took you longer to get Castro's permission to get into Cuba. It took you how long?
It took about 15 years. To get a visa. See, that was to get a visa to get over there. You know, I complained because of the racquetball, you know, the boxing and the baseball and the other players, athletics, got to go over there. But that was a group of people, you see.
Why did you want to do this?
Well, I swam across Lake Michigan. That is, I attempted, you know, when I was 51 years old, right?
When you're, yeah, back
and
when you're young.
That, and I failed. See, I was one little boy. And I failed in that swim. I only made it halfway across Lake Michigan. And I knew then that I had to have some warmer water. And a friend of mine says, well, there's some warm water down there in Florida. And I got to thinking about Cuba to Florida would make history, see.
Before I leave Cuba and Castro, what did you and Castro talk about?
Well, he talked about athletics. And he said he was a swimmer. And I told him, well, I would like for you to swim a little ways with me. He said, no, I go on the boat. I follow you on the boat, you know. So then he told me about his diving experience, you know, that somebody at one time or another put some poison in his diving suit, you know, and you